This
Hopefully we'll get a
conference
couple
will now
people on
be
here.
recorded.
So we've been talking about maybe spacing these webinars out in a way, maybe having the general roundtable every other week, so it doesn't get so stagnant, and it'll give people a time to set up and have a few more people in and kind of keep the conversation going, since it's kind of a roundtable thing. And then maybe the other Thursdays in between, do more of a design centric thing, where somebody's, talking about making a project or settings or actually doing some Lightburn stuff,
I like that idea. I think
or
that's a good idea, Brian.
you know what I mean? Kind of switch it up a little bit and kind of spice it up, because it's kind
I
of,
agree. I think
yeah.
that'd be great.
So that's something we're kind of thinking about. And Grant and Chris and I are scheduling hopefully a live webinar. And we're going to give it a week or two to populate, let people be able to sign up for it and get ready. And it's going to be, Grant and I want to learn how to do photos. So Chris is going to give us a photo tutorial live stream, and we'll ask questions and stuff. And then I'm assuming all the people watching will be able to, if we do it on Facebook Live, for instance, they'll be able to comment and ask questions, and things like that through it too. So that's something we're looking at doing. And then we'll record it also and publish it for evergreen content as well. So
That'd be great.
that's some of the stuff we're thinking about.
Have you ever thought about the 3 o'clock, changing it later for the people who work that can't get on?
I have, and then at the beginning, I used to have 1 week it would be on a 9 a.m. or something like that, and the next week it would be at 7 p.m. And it was just a headache. It was a nightmare to manage.
Yeah.
Now maybe picking one singular better time, is something we can think about. But if I try to cast too wide of a net, it becomes a nightmare trying to get everything scheduled and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we could put out a poll and say, if everybody could pick a perfect time for a webinar, what would it be? And we could just go with the winner.
What time zone are we talking?
Well, I'm in Central, and that's the only way I think. And if my programs don't do it for me automatically, I'm in trouble. But luckily, they've been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, me too. I'm in Central also.
So, all right. Well, we got a few people on here. If anybody has any questions or comments or anything, feel free to kick on your mic and go at it. It's just kind of a round table. So, or if you just want to introduce yourself or whatnot.
I'm just waiting on mine to get here late March. So
that's the hardest thing, man, is that anticipation.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Danielle. We just ordered two 35-100s.
Hey, Danielle.
And they are scheduled for early June, I believe.
Uh-huh. Awesome.
And I have you on speaker because I'm driving a car right now, so I'm trying to be good.
Okay. All right. Well, do you have any questions? Or are you just going to kind of hang out and get a feel for everything, or what?
Yes, I'd like to try and join these as frequently as I can so I become more educated in them.
Mm-hmm.
I own a painting and ceramic studio, so we're adding on to our business with these.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, sounds like you're just going full throttle, getting two of them. That's cool. You're gonna love them.
Yeah, we're scared and excited all at the same time.
Yeah.
But I went to school for graphic design, and I'm 50, so I have quite a few years behind me with it. So I think having the design aspect and the computer aspect of it, I think I should be all right on that end.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it's something new, so I'm a little intimidated. So I figured
Sure.
The more knowledge I gain, the better.
Awesome. Well, we can have you driving a spaceship in 2 days, so you
All
won't
right.
have any trouble with these.
Sounds good to me.
So, hey, awesome. How's it going, man?
I am good, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, So, yeah, I like your Glowforge comparison. And
oh, my pleasure. I was seeing so many of those. I was like, you know what? Let's just make it easy for everybody. So I got Glowforge Pro, the Mira 7, the Mini, and then the 2460.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was cool. You noticed there wasn't a boss in there. How come?
I don't know enough about boss, so I couldn't really comment. I know because the 7 guys did try to meet us, 7 did try to convert me over. So I said,
Mhm.
show me the specs, make me understand. And that's where I was like, oh, no.
Gotcha. Well, cool. I'm glad you put that together. That's good work, man. So,
Thanks.
and there's Ron, superstar, man. That video was epic. That was a good one.
You
You
liked
did a
it?
good job on it. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I was like trying not to be like too unfair to Glowforge, even though like I'm really not a a fan like based on my research, but like it's like the cloud control thing is like just like a big non-starter for me. Like I can't fathom buying $1,000 machine and then not, or multi-$1,000 machine and then not being able to control it locally.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, let's see. Grant's on here with us today. He's listening. So if anybody has any questions related to that, the
Yeah, what's up,
sales
everybody?
side. And well, let's go see if anybody has anything else. I don't ever prep for these things. I'm hoping everybody comes loaded with questions.
Well, since we have more people in here, we can talk again about what we're planning on doing with Chris Ocasio.
Yeah. We can do that. We can also maybe mention Aurora or not.
Yeah.
Um,
You saw what she said about like the timeline, right?
Yeah. So on the fiber laser, it's not a holdup with production or the factory or anything. They're waiting on FDA compliance to be complete so they can start selling them in the US. The FDA, it sounds weird, but the FDA is the governing body for lasers in the United States, because when this all started, they were mostly medical lasers and then some food service stuff. So, and they were over that realm, so they just kept that pigeonholed in that entity. So the food, when you see those FDA stickers on the Chinese machines and everybody laughs and says, why does it need an FDA sticker? Well, it really does. Of course, the ones on the clones are probably fake. They're probably not certified. They probably just put the sticker on there, but we actually wait for our certifications. So
you're telling me there's something to like actually putting a pumpkin pie in your laser and laser etching it at Thanksgiving. You know, it's FDA approved. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy.
You could put up a picture of Aurora. Kind of hard to say. Aurora.
I actually have a photo that I've been working on. Let me find it real quick and I'll share my screen.
Is Aurora the code name for the fiber laser?
It is. And where did I put it? There we go. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Let me get you on the right screen, the correct screen. This one.
What we heard is we could expect April, but it could be longer than that. We're just waiting on the FDA, like Brian said, so it's all a waiting game.
Ooh.
Fully enclosed. So, and I think they're talking 50-watt fiber source instead of 30. So it's going to be a monster too. That's a good size.
So that top portion comes down?
Yeah. Yeah. This slides.
Oh,
and there
got
may be a
window see-through.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a couple other pictures. I got to find them. Let's see.
Okay, and so this is new to me. This is what kind of material does this cut?
This is for metals. You can
wow.
you can ablate metal with a fiber laser. It's real popular for like gunsmiths and people that want to engrave and embellish, do stippling and things like that on firearms. That's a really hot topic.
Wow.
Actually, on that, I got to ask you a question. Do you have to have that license to touch guns?
Well, the way I'm going to explain it, yes, absolutely, because you don't want any gray area. Here, and it reads different, and people read it differently. And I'm definitely no, expert on firearms law, but cancel. I almost hit the wrong button. I was going to try to almost cancel the meeting. Supposedly, if any serialized part is left and the owner, who it's registered to, is not in possession of it, you need to have your FFL and your stamp and all that to do all that stuff. So if technically, if somebody brought their AR up to you and said, will you, put a skull on this for me? I'm going to stay here and watch you do it. You could do that, but you don't want to run your place that way. You want to, it's very little money. It's like $300 or $400 to have it done, and go through the stuff and just have it. And then there's no question. That's always my advice. Sure, there are times when you cannot have it, but do you really want to take that chance? Plus it looks crappy if you say, hey dude, you got to stand here with me while I'm doing your work. Insurance regulations may not allow that anyway in the work area and stuff like that. So there's those considerations as well, but it's a CYA thing and it's worth $500 or $600 to CYA for sure.
Thank you.
I don't know where the rest of those pictures went. There's one with it closed. They're both about the same. All the pictures are pretty close to the same. I don't know why that one's not popping up. Did I cancel my screen? I've got, well, yeah, that's just the same version, just a left side. I won't even pull that one up. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. As far as the thing that I mentioned and Grant mentioned about us doing the photos with Chris, we're going to see about live streaming that while we do it and hopefully take some questions over chat or whatever. So that'll be a cool thing. And then Grant and I can compete to see who can do the best photos afterwards. We can have a contest. So, hey Glenn, how's it going, man? Oh, you got your mic off. There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good.
I got a house full of people, so I came into a dark room so I could hear.
Gotcha. So how are you? Do you have any?
The 51 came in. My 51-130 came in.
Yeah.
I've been working every day since it came in, unfortunately. So today was kind of my first day. I was really able to start doing stuff. Did my first burn, so first cut. It did great. I cut that half-inch material that came on the crate, which was really crappy wood, but
yeah,
2-inch head, cut that half-inch with no problem, and
cool.
The engraving was awesome. I'm thrilled.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, cool. Well, if whenever you want to do that training thing, if you haven't, just hit us up on that, whenever you are ready. We can give you a crash course on light burn and all that stuff. Of course, you may have been working it. Didn't you have a diode, or was that didn't you have a diode before?
No, I didn't have anything, but I've been working with light burn now for a month and a half. Been trying to really familiarize my getting everything prepared and everything done, but I don't know. Is that 1 hour? Is it strictly just for startup purposes, or
that's
is it something like when my rotary comes in, maybe help with rotary or something like that, or
that too? Whatever you want to use it for is fine. And it's like I tell everybody, we have to keep some sort of down to pigeonhole these sessions in. But once your hour's up, I'm not going to cross you off the list and not answer the phone anymore. So don't worry about that. If we need to have another session or something like that, we'll do whatever we have to accommodate you and get you where you need to be. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I could see the rotary being maybe a little bit of an obstacle just because of all the steps and all the other stuff. But
you'd be surprised how little people ask about them though. So
that's good.
And I would suspect that quite a few people, including myself, have probably put these machines together and never looked at one single thing, just plugged everything up and gone with it. And they're tough and they can handle it. So they're pretty hard to mess up.
Yeah, I've done a few things already today and a few tests, and everything's come out really good. I've been thrilled. Look at that, I got light. How about that? I've been really happy. Yeah, I mean, so far it's just I don't know, I just can't say enough right now just because I don't know, but it is really cool. My wife does artwork, and one of the things she wants to do is incorporate some burning on them. And so I made her a little logo and just did her first piece, put a logo in the back of it and stuff. It looks professional, looks awesome. She's really happy. So
awesome.
Yeah. It's
all right.
I'm thrilled.
Well, cool. Does anybody else have anything? I see Renee there. How are you?
You know what?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I did have a question. So when I hooked up Lightburn, it told me to do it through USB and it automatically detects through the USB. But I frequently heard you say that Ethernet is better. If I'm not mistaken.
Better as in it's a little bit faster, and there are a little bit less failures, file transfer failures. But if you hit the send button, you know, if you get used to either using send or shift send, it doesn't really matter that much.
Okay.
So,
Well, yeah, the reason I was asking was because I set it up through the USB, but then when I unplugged the USB and plugged it into the Ethernet, it didn't recognize it at all.
Yeah, you
So
have
I just
to
went
set
back
that
to
up
the USB.
manually. If you're going to have an ad hoc network like that, if you're plugging from the laser into your machine, you've got to define some settings in your LAN card of your machine. You got to give it a static IP address that's on the same range as the laser, and then give, you know, but that's different than the. There's a little bit of setup there, and I can help you with that too.
Or have a
we can set that
crossover
up.
cable, right?
No, they used to say that, but the Ruida has a gigabit port in it, I believe, but it doesn't auto negotiate. But all modern computers have gigabit ports in them, and they auto negotiate, so you don't need the crossover cable anymore. It can detect, as long as it can detect on one side of the communication which ones transmit and which ones your receive pairs. It'll flip them automatically.
Gotcha.
So you don't need a crossover anymore because they got electronics in there to manage that for you.
I know like Mac is like a little different or like less common use cases, but I have a Mac. So when I was first trying to hook mine up via Ethernet, I was trying to do it in the settings and create like basically I was basically trying to do the same thing what you're describing, like the ad hoc network or whatever in the software or the network settings on my Mac, and I could not get it to work. And I was going to order a crossover cable, but I thought of a different solution, which was we had like an old wireless router that had like, you know, a bunch of Ethernet ports on the back, and I decided to basically use that as a switch. So I just plugged that in, plugged my computer into the router, and then plugged a different Ethernet cable into the laser, and then all of a sudden they could talk to each other just fine.
Yeah, that router probably had a default IP address of 192.168.1.1, and that's on the same range as your laser because the default IP on it's 1.100. So it probably just worked automatically because that router was set up to that default address. If it had been a different brand, it might not have come out the same way.
Yeah, I think I had changed it to 10.0.1 at first when I was testing. I don't remember what I ended up on, but I prefer that IP range.
The easiest way to, if your Ethernet port's built in on your Mac, I don't think it affects the Thunderbolt, you know, adapter ones. But if you have a hardwired RJ45 on your Mac, you can go into the terminal and actually get into the LAN settings in the terminal and change the Ethernet settings there. You know, assign the static IPs. That's the best way to do it through the command line on those. So. Right. I keep going down in my chair. I need to raise it up a little bit. So, hey, Renee, how are you? You look, I think it's the first time.
I'm a lot better than the last time I had COVID when I saw you last.
Awesome.
And
awesome.
I'm back at work to see my office.
Cool.
I got my laser last Friday. So I have it on my property, but it's still in the crate because we're finishing that room. We have sheetrock. I've got 2 more small pieces to hang and the stuff on the ceiling. And then I'll take it down and take it.
Gotcha. Can I get y'all to mute your mics if you're not talking, please? We're getting some noise. I'll do the same. All right. Well, do you have any questions or anything?
Right now, I've watched the video on how to unpack it. I've got to get on the 1-hour training.
Okay.
And I guess I'll do that after I unpack it. But right now, I don't have any questions. I'm sure I'll have a million by the time I get it unpacked and in its place.
Okay. Well, if you need anything, you know, you can email support or you can give us a call or check our support knowledge base. That cheat sheet's got a bunch of good stuff on it too. So
I've printed all those off and put them in a binder. And I bought a fire extinguisher today. I told them we weren't turning it on to even turn it on before we had a fire extinguisher right next to it.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
Excited. I couldn't believe when they finally brought it to me. It was massive.
Yeah, they're monsters.
Yes, I was so excited though. I've been waiting for 3 or 4 months because I had 2 months to think about it and research it, and finally decided on which one I was going to get, and now it's there. so I can go out and
Good.
look at it, touch it, and smell it every night.
All right. You just have to
I'm
break that
excited
thing
about it.
open and start burning stuff.
I'm
So
ready. I've got all kinds of ideas, just waiting on that room to be finished.
awesome. Awesome. All right. Was anybody else have anything? Hey, Danielle, how are you?
Hey, I do good. I have two questions.
Mhm.
One is when Renee was talking, well, I had one question, but now I have two. When
Okay.
Renee was talking about the fire extinguisher, is there really a chance of the place going up in flames?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
I've
burning
I've
wood
read
with
that.
a beam of light. So
Yeah, you're running
you're
it through the
literally
nose,
burning
it's really
fire.
hot. Yeah, and it needs to be
So,
a CO2 fire extinguisher, and you can get it on the web. I can't remember, but it was $150 with shipping and tax and everything. It's more expensive than a normal one, but I want something that won't throw a bunch of foam and things in there. This was made for electronics. It doesn't leave a film. So it has to be a CO2 fire extinguisher.
all right. And I guess, well, that brings now three questions. My tagging on to that one, I guess as far as insurance, because I have this in a space. I have a paint and ceramic studio, so I rented the adjacent space to it to put these machines in it. So I guess I would probably have to let my insurance company know that, because I want to make sure it's covered.
Mhm.
God forbid there was a fire.
Yeah, and that's a good question and something that I haven't checked into a lot, and maybe we could find somebody that's in the insurance biz that could maybe join us one day. But as far as even homeowners insurance, I don't know how that's effective. I've heard at times that if you don't have a rider or you don't claim that machine is in there, that
Right.
could be a reason for denial. And I know in the commercial industrial, there's some implications. I don't know what they are. I would suggest talking to your insurance person and maybe
Right.
mention it, or maybe call one that's not yours if you don't want them to know yet, and just ask a hypothetical.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I recently did that too. That I got my insurance and then I got the fire extinguisher on the way. We're putting in my shop. I added a room onto my shop, and I told them it was a machine that I needed covered as under contents, and we covered the machine and contents for like $15,000. And she asked me, is this a business or a hobby? I said, well, it's a hobby. Because today it is a hobby. I'm not making money off of it, and I won't for a long time. This is my retirement goal, hopefully to be able to retire one day. But I just told her it was a hobby, and they just added it on as a insurance on my shop and the contents.
Okay.
you
Right.
got to be careful with that because the insurance companies they can deny your coverage if you if you let them know that too. So it depends on the company. Because I had a company that found out that I did what she did and just covered the equipment costs, and then they found out through whatever, just talking to them or re-upping my insurance and stuff like that, and I slipped and let them know that I had a laser, and they gave me 30 days to find another provider. They dropped me right then and there.
Oh, wow.
So
Well,
Yeah.
I
you
told them
gotta.
it was a laser. I told
Well,
my
no, I
company
know.
it was a
I'm just
laser.
saying different companies work it different ways.
Right.
Some the company I have right now could care less. They're like, we
That's
don't care. How much is it worth? So just be aware of that could be, or you could get independent coverage through another company that would cover it. Might be an option too. I just hate to see someone go through what I did because that really sucked.
Right.
Literally, they said we're going to be sending a letter out to you. You have 30 days from the receipt of the letter to find another company because we can't cover you. So, and that was that really sucked. So
Yeah.
just be careful with that.
Yeah, it'd be good to talk to whoever your peoples are for that, because drone insurance is weird that way too. Some places will cover drones and some won't, and there's extra insurance for that. So they're picky about things. It's crazy how that works.
Right. And then my other question is, and I asked this on the Facebook sites, but it's good to actually hear it out of somebody's mouth. The space that I rented has a 30-inch door, but with all the molding and everything on it, it measures 29 3/4. So I had a contractor come out and he said it would fit. He looked at the schematics and everything from Thunder, and he said worst case scenario is he'll take the whole door out. So how do you feel about that as far as it being 29 3/4?
That machine, I think, will actually get 27.5 if you take the hinges and the emergency stop button and the
Okay.
light stalk mount completely off. If you take anything that's on the surface, because those hinges, on the bed are actually surface mount, so they stick up a little bit. If you get
Okay.
some of that outside hardware off where it's just the frame, it'll squeeze through
Mhm.
27.5 inches, I think is what we measured.
Oh, okay, great. And then as far as I said, I bought a 35-100. How
Mhm.
many, I'm not moving it myself. I'm only 4'11", but, how many men do you think I need to have on hand to move that?
Well, I mean, if you just need to go through a doorway, you could get a furniture dolly and sit it up on end and just push it through on the furniture dolly, kind of like they did in the video
There
when they
you
were
go.
going in the elevator. They just had that little
Right.
dolly underneath it.
Yeah, yeah,
You could use a hand truck, like a furniture dolly or something, one of
yeah,
the
yeah,
something like that. But I would say, for that machine, it's it's close to 1,000 pounds. I'll have to
yeah,
look. You definitely want at least 4 strong guys there. You get too many, they'll be in each other's way, depending
right.
on what you're doing. If you're going downstairs or something like that, I'd get a stair climber. They make a machine for that. But if you
Yeah,
just
there,
need to get through
yeah,
some doorways,
right.
with the right equipment, handling equipment, a dolly or some sort of hand truck or something, you should be fine with a couple of people.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there are no steps. There's a ramp, but no steps.
Yeah. So, and it rolls once you get it through where you need to go. The casters on it are heavy duty. They're really good and they roll real smooth, so if you need to
Yeah,
roll it through anywhere, the
yeah.
casters on it are in good shape too.
I'm a nervous wreck about these. The computer software is one thing. I can handle that. It's the whole machine. It's got me just crazy.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of built-in safety features. It won't fire if the lid's open, and we do a lot of stuff to try to help minimize any accidental things that may happen. Of course, everything happens,
Right.
but you can just go to town on it. If you make a little boo-boo, it's usually okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be
So
one or two of those.
I've had quite a few, and I'll have
Right.
more. So,
Couple of
but
quick
yeah,
things, Renee. If you're still listening, would you mind putting in the chat the CO2 extinguisher you mentioned? And for Brian, did you say that 35 requires a 27.5 and less? Oh, sorry, 25.5, 27.5 at least to get through?
I said that if you take the alarm button, the e-stop button, and the hinges and all the stuff that's past the surface of the material, the top of the machine, all off, it measures 27.5 inches.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
So
working on another special doc, and I just saw that was one of my questions I was trying to answer.
and I'll measure it again and confirm that a little bit later.
Okay.
But I'll check on that, and that's just the 35 and up, that are on the basis. So
Good.
that I've got an article, awesome. I'll put this link in here too about a fire extinguisher and safety glasses and some of that generic stuff with some links in it.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. So basically, I have been working on another document too. These are just general questions I get asked.
Mm-hmm.
So these were some of the things I did have it down. So when Renee brought, I'm like, oh yes, I need an answer for that one too. And then when Daniel asked about the doorway, like, oh yep, need that one too.
Yeah, I just put that safety article in the chat. And
Perfect.
if you go to the client support, you can just type in safety or type in glasses. It should pick up pretty much any of that. But it's the safety info article.
Perfect.
So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And how webinars?
I'm sorry?
How often are these webinars?
Weekly. We're having them weekly on Thursdays right now. And we were talking about, I don't know if you were here earlier, we were talking about mixing it up a little bit, like having every other one being a roundtable discussion like this. And then all the other ones in between doing more of a design thing where we do something in Lightburn or do a project or, something like that to try to mix it up a little bit. Glenn gave me the thumbs up on that one. So yeah, it looks like the direction we're going to go. Did you hear that, Grant?
That's my thing. I feel real comfortable around the machine. I wouldn't mind to take the whole thing apart and put it all back together, but that's computer shit. That's just not, excuse my language, but the computer stuff is hard on me.
Right.
If Glenn will put my machine together, take it apart, I'll help him with the computers.
Are you in South Florida?
Oh no, but I want to move to the Keys, so that's pretty good,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah. That's a beautiful place. I'm born and raised in Key West.
Oh wow, that's cool. World. Yeah. So we're down the Keys for the month of July. So, but other than
Nice.
that, fortunately.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like Gene joined us. How are you, man? Looks like you got your mic off there. I don't know if I can unmute him from here or not. Oh, send unmute request. See what that does. I sent you a message. Does that work?
How about that?
Hey, that's neat. I didn't know we could do that.
Oh, there's a button down there at the bottom. I was trying to figure out where the daggone mic was.
So, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful.
All right. So, what's your status so far?
Still waiting.
Yeah.
I got, they said end of March or early April. And we're going to be moving at the end of this month, so timing is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Like I said, if anybody's got any questions or anything, please feel free, because I don't have anything jotted down to talk about. So
I did have a question.
Yeah.
I was noticing that in the forums, people are starting to get their Rotoboss and their lenses and all of the things extra that they bought. About when does that start rolling out? When the unit hits the States? Or?
I'm going to let Grant answer part of that, but as a general rule, he's laughing at me. The machines are packaged in China, and so the machine and everything that comes with it, the last person that touched it was somebody in QC in China at Thunder. So, those come that way. So anything you get from us, like rotaries or optics or any of that other stuff that comes from Thunder Laser USA, will come separately. Some of it comes straight from the manufacturer and some of it comes from our facilities. So as far as the timing of the stuff that comes from our facilities, that's the part I'll let Grant address.
Yeah, there's not really a rhyme or reason to it. We just try to get it to you before you get the machine.
All right. Can't use it beforehand.
That brings me to something for anybody that's waiting on their laser still and hasn't got their Rotoboss. And I know I spoke with Jason about this, and he spent some time on the phone with me. The one that you just automatically buy with the machine is the Rotoboss Junior, which I know a lot of people like and all that stuff, but I really wanted the full Rotoboss. So if you do want the full Rotoboss, you need to make sure that you let them know, and you do have to pay a little bit more for it. But I mean, for me, I just rather buy whatever I may need in the future than have to buy it twice. So to save everybody and Jason a pain in the butt from shipping and then having to get it back and then send a bigger one out, that's just so everybody knows you're going to get the Rotoboss Junior if you pay the $800 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And if you want the bigger one, you need to let your salesperson know.
Yeah, on the 35s and up, that's the one that we that's the one we always prescribe, because until the beginning of the year, or maybe the end of last year or something, we didn't even offer the full Rotoboss. All we had was the Junior for the 35, 51, and 63, and then the low roller for the 24. So that full-blown Rotoboss is a relatively new offering, and that's kind of how that evolved into that. Is we typically just automatically assume that it's going to be the Junior, unless you specify that you want the other. So yeah, that is a good point.
Right. And that's why I brought it up. It wasn't for anything other than if you're really just wanting, wanted to make sure I just bought everything at once, and instead of buy something and figure out I got to buy something else later.
Yeah.
Buy the one that does it all.
So yeah, and I've got both, and I do find myself using the full Rotoboss more. And I don't know if it's just because it's the one I grabbed, but I seem to like it a little better. So. All right. Well, let's see. Ron, tell us a joke. he wasn't paying attention.
Knock knock. I don't know. I don't have any jokes.
No, just kidding. So
I did forget to send you file though that I was talking about that like was skipping the straight lines on the vector cut, but I was gonna, and the reason I didn't send it to you yet, I was just gonna try to fire it at a normal speed, not 1,000 millimeters per second,
Mhm.
because yeah, you said it, it can't keep up that fast, so like maybe it was just like something to
could have
do
been.
with that. Yeah.
You need to adjust your backlash for that. If you're trying to run a high speed, you got to adjust with your backlash.
Say more.
What's that?
Say more. I don't know what you mean there.
There's backlash settings in the settings in the Lightburn, and there's also, if I remember right, there's a little card or something that comes with the laser, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
To adjust
Yeah,
your backlash,
I-
it gives you like because what happens is the laser's moving, or the head's moving faster than the laser can produce a spark. So what
Yeah.
it does is it retards the timing of the head, or speeds up the signal for firing, so it can actually match the speed of the head. I guess I think I'm saying that right, Brian. You're
Yeah.
basically trying to fire it early, so by the time it reaches with that speed,
Gotcha.
it hits the right spot.
Gotcha.
Basically.
Yeah,
Well-
I added the like inverse
The
compensation.
reverse
settings.
compensation settings. Yeah, that's all you
Yeah.
have to do, because it's got settings in there from 200 to 1,000.
Yeah,
So-
I entered those, but it was. Were you on last time when I explained my problem, Jason?
Probably not.
Basically, like I was doing a kiss cut. I know this isn't the best like sharing on from a phone, but like I was doing like a kiss cut around a raster pass, and
Oh
it
yeah.
was doing the vector around the curves, but anywhere where there's a straight line, it seemed to not fire, even though it was like still going over that area.
Huh.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
so we're talking about two different things then.
yeah, yep.
Sorry.
So no worries. I think I had this cut settings for that, like, like maxed out, but like it didn't. And the reason I had it maxed out is because I wanted it to be like maybe not as dark of a kiss cut.
Yeah.
But
If you're just wanting to score it, you can also turn on perforation mode.
Yeah.
And that'll also help, because that'll make it basically pulse twice as fast. So you can actually get a good, if you're running through there, you can use the perforation mode to even score lighter.
okay.
You can't dial it down low enough just to get down to the power that to your threshold on your power, if that's what the issue is.
Maybe because the reason I had it at 1,000 millimeters per second was because I told you I discovered that it wasn't like striking anywhere below 4% power,
Mm-hmm.
but at 4% power, like that score was still pretty dark.
Too deep. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
too deep or too dark.
You'll be able to ramp your power back up and use perforation mode to affect the same output. So, and there's some articles on it in Lightburn in the forum. Look up perforation, and they talk about how to do that, I think, in one there. I'll look for it and see if I can find it and send it to you. But that might help you a lot on that.
Yeah. Do you? I'll take a look at that. Does it like you like enter like gap settings or something? So like. Because I don't want it to be like a dotted outline or anything. But
yeah, I mean it's kind of like that, but I think you can choose. I'm looking in here right now.
You make it like tight so it's not noticeable.
Yeah, and that's the way they explained it. That's an image. I can't do that one. Let me pull up the settings real quick and look at it and see what it says.
Okay.
But yeah, you can turn perforation mode on, and you can tell it how long the cut is and how long the skip is. So you could do it something ridiculous like 0.003 or something like that, and it'll just dot real close together. Is
that one of the cuts that makes like an almost musical sound while it's doing it? I love when you like occasionally.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if this one will or not. That's one reason I can't wait to check out these fiber lasers. I like the noise they make too.
Yeah,
Just that they can do challenge coins and metal.
They play music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy that has a couple videos out that he did that with made some music with one. So that was
Yep.
pretty neat. So
Oh, Brian, the first one's going to be what, 20 or 30?
what's that?
The wattage on the fiber?
50.
Yeah, I think we're talking about 50. Let me hold on. I'll show you. Awesome. You weren't on here when I pulled that up, were you?
Good
No.
Lord, they're going for broke, aren't they?
Let's see.
Yeah, it's going to be 5,000, 6,000 machine then at this point.
A
Let me
what?
pull it up. My thing's wrong.
5 or
Let's see.
6K machine.
That's not
More than
bad for a
that.
50. It'd be more
Yeah,
than
it'd be
that
a lot.
probably though.
Might be closer to 10 for a 50.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
don't do
not
my
gonna
ideas.
be.
Brad's on the phone.
Well, it depends. You can get cheaper ones, but I don't know
Yeah,
what
it's going to
Thunder's
be
got.
fully enclosed though, right?
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's right. Yep.
All right,
Yeah,
we're talking cash.
it's
See,
bad, dude.
That has benefits and it has downsides too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the guns
Well,
don't fit
I
in
like
real well with it closed.
I like
I'm sure
mine
there's probably
completely
you
open.
can defeat the locks. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you can defeat the handle if you want to put something long in. I'm sure they made it
Well, yeah, but
exceptions for that.
if you have something tall and you need to engrave the middle of it,
Yeah,
I mean, you're not going to be able to do that very well as you would with the open
yeah.
area type.
But yeah, they wanted to go with a fully enclosed. It may be a little bit restrictive, and they may look at something, you know, at V2, you know, on making it more adaptable. I don't know, but that's what she's going to look like.
Are they doing that for laser code? For like to make it
It may be because they are waiting on the whole reason the holdup is FDA approval. So that may be
okay.
exactly what it has to do with. I don't know that, you know, I'm just speculating, but.
Well, it's probably like their enclosed machines, the way they have them set up. They're set up to be what, class 1? Or they are.
Well, with the door closed, I guess you can call it a class 1. I mean, we've got a real class 1 machine that has some German electronics in it with some extra safety features. That's actually a certified class 1.
Yeah, I know the glass on this thing's not. There's no way that's class 1 glass on them.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tempered glass is just as good as acrylic at abating, you know, 10,600 nanometer.
Well, no, usually they're colored when they're class 1. They're usually a darker color of some sort, green.
Well, the visible light doesn't have anything to do with the class. The visible light is the only thing mitigated by the shading, just so you don't get welder's eye.
Yeah, that's be like easier on your eyes, right?
Yeah, basically like sunglasses. Because I've had welder's eye before when I used to weld. I'd look at it too long, or it'd come in around the thing, and it feels like you get sand in your eyes for a couple days. Man, it's horrible.
Yep.
When I first started laser cutting at the makerspace, like it was so like addicting. I'd be like sitting over top of the machine, just like watching it cut. And
I
like,
still do that,
my
man.
eyes gonna hurt. I just maybe stop doing that.
I do that every time I see it.
I got slight welder's eye from doing a bunch of tack welds with your eyes closed. It goes right through your eyelids. Yeah.
Safety squint.
Yeah, right.
Safety squints.
Or you cover your eyes and you burn the back of your hand.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just welding in short sleeves in general. Yeah, it's fun.
Man, when I used to weld pilings, we used to do foundation restoration, and we would drive pipe into the ground, and we'd have to weld some of that stuff together. And I've been upside down in a wet, dirty, muddy hole trying to weld, and electrocuted myself, and slag running down my shirt and all kind of stuff. It's horrible conditions.
Dang.
I used to love it though. I couldn't weld though. I was more of a grinder. They say you're either a welder or a grinder, and I was a grinder. So
slag chipper.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Brian, I had a question for you.
Yeah, man.
I had something. We all know that Lightburn is an incredibly stable platform, but I was working with the PNG image this morning and was applying a mask with one of the tool layers. And when I would go to preview it, it would absolutely crash the program. And I was just curious if you'd heard anything about anything like that.
No, that's the first instance of that I've heard of. As a matter of fact, I have
not had one bobble with Lightburn in the whole time I've used it. And I tried it on a couple of different PNGs, and it's
Mhm.
just when you go to preview once you have the mask applied. And I
Mhm.
was just curious if anybody had heard or
Now,
seen something like that.
I tell you what might be beneficial though to you and Lightburn is turn on developer mode, and maybe they can pull what's going on, and Oz can, look at that data and see what's going on. That might help
Okay.
identify something if there is there. I don't know if he's got a doc. I think there's a doc somewhere on exactly how to. It's been a long time since I've even seen that. I think just enable debug log. We'll put it in developer mode.
Okay. All right. I'll do
And there
that
may be
because I mean
something
that
else to
locks the
do.
program up. You've got to
Yeah.
completely shut it down to get it back
You
up.
may check with them and make sure that that's the right thing. Enable debug log, if that's enough, because I think there's something else you can turn on to pull more data. I'm not sure. But if you can capture it doing it, if you can
Yeah.
capture a log while it's doing it, that'll be a huge help to try to figure out what's up with it.
Yeah, it's repeatable. I can do it,
Yeah.
every time. So I might as well try to see what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you have enough RAM on your machine?
What?
RAM, enough memory?
Yeah, no, I got 16 gigs, so we're good there.
Mhm. I tell you what, you could send me your files and let me try it. If you want to shoot me an email with them, and I'll just
Okay.
try it for mine just to see.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a
I
bad
mean,
idea. Okay.
I don't know if it would tell us anything, but I could tell if I had success or not. I don't know exactly what good it'll do, but I'll be glad to give it a shot. I'm running the latest 9.20.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they changed a lot on that new update, didn't they? I've had several people asking me to troubleshoot the rotaries and stuff, and they changed a lot of stuff by the sounds of it. I don't have the new update, but
Yeah, they've been changing quite a bit. He's right.
well, they had two pop out back to back, and I think one of those was to fix something. But
well, the problem is the settings. A lot of people have been telling me or getting a hold of me telling me that the settings that they had been using, now that the update's out, the settings have completely changed.
mhm.
So I'm just curious as to what they changed in the software. I need to get a hold of Jason and find out. But
Well, here's the change log. I mean, he puts everything in it. I'll paste it on here.
Yeah, it was a long change log.
I pasted it in there if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I see it.
But a lot of I don't see anything that really, that looks like all kind of standard stuff. Other than the bug fixes.
Say anything in there about making changes to improve reliability on the new MacBooks with the M1? Because
Oh no,
I quit using mine for it. It'd run for a minute or two and crash, and run for a minute or two and
I think it's the processor.
No, I don't think it's the processor. Processor's better than my Xenon processor and my other one.
Not performance wise, but like dependency wise.
Like architecture.
Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, I don't know. I did ask Jason in a Lightburn forum. There was on the Facebook group. There was something. Someone commented on it, and I never saw anything back.
Seen any? Well, actually, that's the first I've heard of that too. But I don't think I've ever heard that of any of the Intel chipsets. So that's something that I might.
I was going to say if they haven't compiled for the Mac ARM processors, then it's like emulating.
That if that's an ARM, then there aren't those dependencies there that Lightburn needs. That's the reason it won't run on a Raspberry Pi.
Well, that's interesting because I read something where it said it should, that they've looked at it and there shouldn't be an issue, but maybe they didn't look at it a whole lot.
Okay, I gotcha.
Because part of Apple's, what is it? What's their like?
The Berkeley kernel, the only thing that separates it from being Linux.
No, the not Babel, the Rosetta. The Rosetta 2 thing.
Yeah, their translation layer.
Yeah, like there's a translation layer that if it's if they haven't compiled for the Mac ARM processor, it'll emulate the x86 instruction set. But it's not perfect, obviously. So like that could be why it works for a bit and then fails. So I imagine at some point Lightburn will compile for that chipset, but it already seems, I don't know how they do their development, but I, being a Mac user for how many years now, like you can definitely tell Lightburn on Mac like has some quirks that like other Mac apps don't. Like it uses buttons where there's like as tabs on some panels, like instead of like how Mac handles tabs like in other programs. So like I wonder if it's already being like ported to Mac via their build process.
I think it is. I think
Yeah.
I think that is it, because he was a Mac developer for years. So I'm sure that probably has something to do with it, just the way they compile it for the different architectures.
Yeah. I imagine it's hard to try to support all three with one code base.
Yeah.
All three, Mac, Linux, and PC.
Yeah, I haven't tried Linux in a while. I did get Lightburn to run on Wine once.
On Wine?
Way back. Yeah. It's the Windows emulator for Linux.
Oh, got it.
Brian, I've got a question. I'm getting my room set up for my machine, but my actual distance to the outside wall is going to be 30 feet. Will the fan take care of that distance, or do I need to think about an inline fan? And
I think it'll handle it, because I think there's I forget exactly how much comes in that in the machine when it's stretched out. I don't know that I've ever measured it. Isn't it like 20 meters?
It's got to be like close to
like 40 feet and 20 feet a section, 15 maybe.
I would say it's at least 10 feet a section. Like like my ceiling in my shop is like 10 feet, I think, and there's plenty of slack, and I didn't actually end up needing to use the second section, so it comes with at least like 20 to 30 feet.
You can always add a second for a booster.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think you'd have any.
I'm concerned about the pump and the fan to get the exhaust out.
No, that fan's plenty to get that out of there. Okay. That fan's powerful enough to go that run, even if it's flex. Yeah.
I think I've got rigid pipe. That's not an 8-inch pipe, so I'm going to adapt it down to 6.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit. So you run rigid?
Yes.
Okay. And you're wanting to know if the fan is capable to push through that system? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, that's plenty. Yeah, running that rigid is way better than using our included flex. So yeah, you should have far less resistance, so you shouldn't have any problem at all. That fan moves almost 500 cubic feet per minute, so.
And I believe Glenn built a filter box. Is that right?
I've seen, I think.
Yeah, it works really good. The little bit that I've cut, the fan is sucking really good through it. I just use a 12-inch filter. I built it so I could run twin 12-inch filters, but I just got the one in it right now.
Did you put it in before it gets to the fan or after the fan?
I put it in before or after. Just the machine ductwork to the filter, and then from the filter it goes into my attic, and that's where my fan is in the attic, and that's why I put the filter, because I don't want to have to access that fan constantly, and then it goes up out the roof.
Yeah, you don't typically want the filter to be ahead of the fan, so it'll help clean that air before it gets to the fan to help the build.
But that you don't want the back pressure either.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Right. Yeah.
Back pressure will cause smoke to come back up in the house, or
if the thing starts clogging up, you'll be in bad shape. Yeah. Push it back.
So. Is there any type of a special filter you recommend for doing something like that? I was thinking about getting an inline fan, but I wanted a filter beforehand.
I would just get a static base filter, the ones that you can wash. Like they make some of them. It's like almost like a Brillo pad, but it's a flat sheet. Obviously, it's metal, and when the air passes through it, it creates kind of a static charge, and it traps the material. And then you just take it out, you spray it down with degreaser, and then hose it off, and it comes right off. So you can clean them really easy. It doesn't restrict the flow a whole lot, but still catches a lot of the soot and debris that comes off the laser. So that would be, because if you use a regular pleated filter, you're going to clog those things up in no time, and you're gonna run through those things like crazy.
That's a good idea. I've seen those static filters.
Yeah. Yeah, I use them in my shop because I have my wood shop, so it actually traps the material, but it doesn't restrict the flow of the ventilation system. And I've had good luck with them as far as that goes.
Cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm definitely gonna check that out because I just got a pleated filter in mine.
Yeah, you'll burn through filters like crazy. I mean,
Yeah, I'll look at those. Yeah.
You can make your own filter with you can pack it full of those steel Brillo pads and just have a bunch of them in that box. You know, if you can't find a filter to fit it, you can just create your own kind of.
Yeah, or make an active charcoal one too. That would help with the smell. You could always rinse it out, put the medium back in. To do something like that.
Square inches of surface that I need to work that wouldn't restrict the fan.
That's why I was suggesting using the metal.
But do you have a dimension of the filter that would be good to use? Number of square inches? Is that what you
anything bigger than the input of the air or the line that you're putting in. So if you have an 8-inch or 10-inch input, you'd probably want the filter at least to be 12 to 16 inches to cover that volume coming through there. You wouldn't want to have a smaller filter, but to anything bigger than what you're using as an input line, and obviously the bigger it is, the more surface area there is to catch stuff within it. Because chances are, whatever happens is the air coming through into the filter, you're going to clog that section of that filter first. So if you have a larger filter, if that does get clogged with soot and stuff and you don't get to it in time, the air can still go around it and you don't clog up your system. So that's kind of create like a fail-safe kind of system to where you don't completely back up your system.
Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I was going to ask a question about what Glenn's got. It looks like he's got a 6-inch coming out of the laser going into a box with an 8-inch coming out. Is that what I looked at when he showed his laser?
Yeah, it is. Just because I chose to get the higher volume fan with the 8-inch. So and the stock coming out of the laser is 6 inches. There's no reason for me to, if I increase it there, I increase it up there. I can't see that there would be a difference wherever I increased it at. It's still going from 6 to 8. So your weak point or your weak link is the 6-inch. So
yeah, it's more important to be on the output side though, due to back pressure, right? You want to make sure that you've got the full volume going out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like a bottleneck, I guess, a reverse bottleneck.
Yeah, you don't want to have a reducer. Anything enlarging.
Right, you don't want to go from 6 inch to 4 inch, 6 inch to 8 inch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what's going on. There it is again.
I think basically Glenn made his filter box the reducer for the adapter to go from 6 to 8. Yeah.
Well, that's my question is, so is it better to come out 6 to 8 or just come out the back of the laser just straight 8? Just get a reducer from right there at the laser itself and just run 8 all the way.
You couldn't go wrong going bigger.
Okay. Well, just the reason why, because I'm fixing to order one. That's the reason why I was asking. I think I asked last week also. So
Yeah.
I was gonna get the inline 8 and just do 8 right out of the machine all the way out to outside, which my
Yeah.
run's not gonna be less than 10 feet.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that'd be
suppose
more than
I can't
sufficient.
see the 8-inch on the input making much of a difference though, because you're going to have the 6-inch hole coming out of the machine, so you're not
Right.
going to pull any more through there. Your 8-inch is going to be an extra adapter.
Yeah, well, that rigid, I mean, you also get some resistance, to flow, so that could be an issue. It would reduce that, besides just however much volume it can make through that hole.
So if you're running metal rigid, I would recommend putting some sort of grounding strap on that. Just like a 12 gauge wire or something. Screw it into it, and then screw it into a electrical outlet. The centerpiece, or however, like we do with the regular grounding.
The discharge static.
Yep. Because if that thing builds up a lot of static with that soot and stuff in there, it's not a good combination.
Yeah. And don't use
you have that
PVC
problem
pipe
with
for that either.
Yeah, you have that problem with dust collectors in woodworking shops. A lot of people getting zapped over them.
Yep.
And the right spark at the right time might not be a good thing.
Yeah.
If it
Might have
happens
an afterburner coming out the.
Yeah, fuel air explosion.
So my question is, what do y'all recommend? Because I am going to get the 8.
Do what you said. Go bigger, go big all the way. If it's a short run, it won't cost a lot. Just run 8 all the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I got to buy a reducer somewhere. It doesn't matter
Right.
if it's on the machine or the filter. It doesn't, or the fan. It's got to be a reducer somewhere.
Right. Right. So yeah, that'd be the best thing, and probably the least amount of parts and making up and all that stuff too. Just reduce, enlarge it to 8 right there at the machine and run with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I think they come. If I looked on Amazon, I think they offer Inline also offers the aluminum ducking. Is that something you rather do, or Jason, you do woodworking? I've got a CNC machine also, but I've got that heavy duty tube that I've got to go in my jet dust collector.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know how to put a screwdriver through it. It's that tough.
Yeah. I honestly use the green PVC for my dust collection, but I also ground it because I have a metal building. I also put grounding straps periodically throughout the tube to discharge any static that builds up.
Is that schedule 20? Is that what that PVC is? That green stuff that you use, Jason?
I think it's 40.
Yeah, schedule 40.
The only difference is green, so people know it's a sewage pipe.
Yeah, it's not
it's not
PW, not for potable water.
It's not potable water, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I use that because it has the flanged end.
Yeah.
So when you're putting pieces together, it's already flanged. You just put it together. You don't need couplers or anything like that. It's already done. Whereas if you get the 6-inch white, you have to get a coupler, which costs ridiculous amount of money. And then you just run a screw through it with a grounding strap, so the screw actually sticks through into the tube, so that it has the collection point for a static, and then it sends it out the line.
So, cool. Well, we're just over 4 o'clock, and I've got to run and do another session. So I guess I'm gonna cut you guys off unless you want me to I'll let somebody else be the organizer if you guys want to stick around a little bit. I don't mind passing the torch, but I'm gonna have to get off of here. So
I've got to run.
Hey, thanks again, everybody. I appreciate it.
Cool. And we'll see you next week. And
Thank you.
I'll let you know more about the hopefully flip-flopping these sessions and adding some more.
Yeah, it
more
sounds
stuff
like
to
fun.
that too. So, all right, guys. I
Hey,
appreciate
Jason.
you guys.
Thanks,
Jason. Thanks for taking some time on the phone with me, Jason.
No problem. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks.